Today, I'm going to take you inside an entire day of my live day trading. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm finding these setups, the exact indicators and strategies that I use, and how I manage these trades in real time, sort of the mindset that goes into actually day trading. These live trade videos are a series I like to do to kind of show you what we're working on the inside of our private team, as well as what I'm focusing on with my trading. So the goal today is going to be focusing on proper risk management and position sizing. I'm going to try to be a little bit more selective, to be able to hopefully find some really good trade opportunities, let them play out, and if all goes to plan, we should be able to hit our daily profit goal. All right, today's also my mom's birthday. Hopefully that gives me some good luck. Okay, but it's about to turn to 9:30. Let's get into how I set up for my session and then find trade number one. Okay, so as usual, here's how I set up my charts. First, I'm going to set up my exchange, my trade tracker here, which I'm using TradeZella for my journaling. And then I have my trading view pulled up over here. On the trading view side, I have two windows that I toggle between. One is going to give me a 15-minute view, and the other is going to be my 1 minute where I'm looking for my individual trading opportunities. Okay, what I have pulled up over here is the broader market picture, so I can kind of stay up to date with what's happening inside the market in real time. So before we get into finding any trading sessions, the first thing that I want to do is open up my economic calendar and see if we have any important news that is to come out. So we can see 9:30 just open. We're starting to get an influx here, so I don't want to miss this position. For the US, we have a few high impact things, one at 10, which is going to be PMI. Then we got some inflation news as well. So nothing that's going to interrupt me trading. But what I want to do now is start to find areas where I could anticipate imbalances in equilibrium. I'm not going to rush into anything. What I'm going to be looking for are changes of character, fair value gaps, and then all of my other rules in my system to line up to be able to start taking trades. So I'm going to let the market sort of come into my area. I was anticipating this group here. I'm going to see if price action can come up to there. If not, I'll reevaluate. But basically my macro view for the day, if we look at a larger time frame, is that we've had this big impulse and now price is starting to retest that same area over and over, which is leading me to believe that this area could potentially be broken and played to the downside, in which case this area down to 132 could be good and could present a lot of trading opportunities. So I'm kind of hoping that this level is to break and I can play down to the bearish side, but I'm not really committing to any bias. I'm just going to be following the opportunities that arise. All right, so now let's see if we can find trade number one. All right, I'm getting short here into this fair value gap. Let's see if we can get a flip. Initial reaction is really good. Basically what I'm waiting for now is for this level to drop. We have previous day low here, which will give us a 1 to 5 if we get down there, which is really good. We're up over a risk factor right now. We needed to break this low here. It's catching support here. If it can break that, it's going to be good. Now we need resistance off this area. So price comes up into here, flips resistance, and then dumps. That's what we're looking for now. It's kind of holding this level too long. It's not looking great. Get a big move down now. Really nice move down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock in half this position here. Okay, I'm also gonna reduce my stop loss to break even now. So now risk-free trade, almost 2R locked in with 2R floating. So we're gonna see if we can break these lows on previous day lows and run down. If not, it's a nice 2R trade almost. All right, so now we're coming down to test this previous day low here. This is going to probably be another reaction point. Hoping it can break through it, but it does look like it's probably going to catch at least some temporary support through it, but never mind then. All right, just blew through that. So yeah, that news on the PMI news actually drove the market down in our direction, which is good. So our short bias was pretty locked in. Now we got to see if this is going to continue through, but we're up about 5 or 6 risk factors on the day. So that's good. I'm going to close another small portion. Okay, cool. So I locked in a little bit more of the position. I'm going to close out the rest of this position here, and we are fully out. Made about 5.6 risk factors total. First trade of the day. Okay, the reason I got out of this trade is because we came into this sort of support level here in fair value gap. It started getting a little bit of support. We did break previous day low, but first trade out of the gate, I want to lock in some nice profit. So all said and done, we were able to lock in about 5.5R on the first trade. So looking good. I'm going to see how this trend plays out, see if we can find some continuation trades down, and see what the next opportunity is going to be for the day, but good start out of the gate. All right, so I'm back at my desk. I took a second just to call my mom and step away from the charts, let the markets develop a little bit. But I am in long here off of this level, and I'll explain why I'm doing this. So basically, I was waiting for this level to be broken, because this is the imbalance level that wasn't broken for the whole entire session. Once we broke through it, you'll see this is where we started to get some support in here, and then we finally had an actionable fair value gap right here. So you can see I got into the position. Whether this follows through is a different story, but we got our initial response, you can see beautifully off of that area. So if we do end up continuing and responding off of that and we get momentum, great. Otherwise, it's going to be a contained loss, but we're looking for this level to be broken over now, and we're going to see if we can trade back up into our higher time frame fair value gaps. We're testing this bearish fair value gap right now on a 15-minute, but I'm looking to see if we could potentially reclaim this one, which would get us back up to retest this trend level that was broken, in which case that will bring us back up to 137. So if that happens, it's exactly what I'm looking for. See if that level breaks. All right, so we're all out for about negative 1.2 R. So we're still doing pretty good on the day. I want to see if I can maybe play, if this wants to break and make a continuation, maybe play bearish, but I'm going to let this move sort of develop and see what we can find next. All right, I'm in short here off of this fair value gap. We could break underneath these session lows responding off previous day high. So we're gonna see if we can get a drop now. All right, so this candle closed below that swing point. So I'm gonna go ahead and reduce my stop loss into profit. So basically nearly a risk-free trade. Let's see if this can drop underneath these lows now. All right, so it swept that low. We're getting big push up now. All I really want to see is volatility into the market. I have risk completely off the table now in this trade, so it is what it is. If it comes back up, fine. If it retests this and then continues to dump, great. If it flips, then I can also find some potentially bullish opportunities. I just want to see movement in the market right now. Make it a little bit of a break to the downside again, so it's looking pretty good. Once again, this is a risk-free trade. Depending on the situation, I would maybe consider taking half off here, lock in another risk factor, but I want to go risk on today. If I can end the session early, it's about 1 in the afternoon right now. If we can get a nice move and I can hit my daily target, it's not bad. So I'm going to go full risk on. I'd rather this come up and stop me out for break even and keep the upside of it potentially going in my direction. So we'll see. Now it's just time to wait. What's annoying about this is this could literally come up, respond off of this trend level after stopping me out and then continue moving. I don't love that my stop is here. I'm going to keep the stop there, but I can picture this happening now. It's going to do this. All right, so we're out for break even on that. So $67 loss at the end. Not bad. All right, let's see if we can break out of this area. Maybe we take a long here. But for now, it's going to finish logging this trade and we'll see what happens. All right, I'm long here off of a change of character and the midpoint of this fair value gap. I'm going to go for a 1 to 4. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a push here in this direction. So I'm not reducing risk yet. We are getting that first clean initial response off of this level that we were looking for. Not only was this a fair value gap, but it was also critical levels that I was tracking for this entire session. Once we broke out of this area and flipped it, I wanted to see a response off of there. So now it's just going to depend on if the market wants to continue to actually follow through or if it was just a fluke and it's going to continue moving down. But that's sort of the name of the game in trading. You just want to put yourself into good positions in general. Then if the market plays out, by that time you've hopefully reduced risk and then you're just kind of playing into those moves. Now we just need to break through this area. We kind of know that that's going to be the next point of interest. All right, so at this point, I am reducing risk on this position to break even. The reason I'm doing this is because we made a close over this high here, so I don't want to let this drop back down. I'm going to continue to see if this can run and pop to the upside. We're up about 2 risk factors. What I'm doing here is I'm also looking at my multi-time frame analysis, and I'm seeing we have a bearish fair value gap right here, but we've already ran into it and rejected, and we're coming up to test it again on this underside here. So if we break through this, which we're kind of testing right at this moment, so I've reduced risk already. If this pops through this area, it's probably going to come up and contact this level on my 15 again, potentially the underside of this trend, but I'm looking to just take profit off generally in this area, which is why I have my take profit here. So I'm just looking for 3, 7, 4 risk factors. I just want like a nice pop in momentum here. So hopefully that's what we're able to get. That's the ideology about sort of what I'm doing here. All right, I just locked in half of this position and locked in a risk factor here. So I accidentally closed out my position there. It is what it is. We're able to lock in a little bit over 2 risk factors here while reducing risk. So that's really, really good. All right, so as far as as risk factors on the day, my goal is 7. That's the better part of the goal. So we're almost at the daily goal here. I'm going to head to the gym real quick. I'm going to let the market develop, speed up a little bit. It should kick up a little bit as Asia session opens up a bit. I'm going to journal this, but overall so far, really good risk management, about 50% win rate on the day. Profit factor, really, really good. So I'm going to take a break and see if we can find trade number 5. All right, so post gym, I'm getting ready for dinner. I'm gonna go to Brooklyn, just sort of enjoy my evening. I've had a really successful trading day so far. I'm gonna try to find one more trade to see if I can sort of let it play out while I'm out, manage it on my phone. You can see we're at 6.3 risk factors on the day here. The goal for 2026 is to be able to double my risk over the year. Okay, it does change things emotionally when I increase the risk, but that's going to be the goal. I'm also going to be trading futures. You can see I have the Trade Evade account set up already. So the goal is to basically train myself to become a futures trader, make sure that I am profitable, document it, and then we can start ripping futures because we have a lot of people on our team that are doing really, really well in the futures market right now, and we're building all sorts of things. I'm just so geared towards trading Solana. I've been doing so well with it. I have an edge with it, but 2026 is going to be futures and scaling to 2K risk per trade, which means if I can do it across 5 accounts, my goal is to really be able to scale this. So I have another trade that I'm watching. I've been watching this trend develop for a while now. I want to see any break in either direction, and then I'm going to take one more trade on that before we go to dinner. All right, so I'm in short here, sort of anticipating that this trend level is going to break down. As trends tend to contact the same level over and over, we're coming into this area. We have a change of character and fair value gap that got swept and we're dropping. So I'm assuming this is going to drop down. And as soon as it drops below this level, I can reduce risk. I have a nice juicy position on. So hopefully it's going to work out nicely. All right, so I'm reducing risk here. Hopefully we get a nice move down, but I'm leaving the house, so I'll have to manage everything on my phone. We're gonna see what happens. So it came up and stopped us out for a break even. So break even trade, not too bad. All right, so immediately out of the gate, this was our first trade. And the reason we got into this in the first place was realistically because of this level that I drew along this area. We had a high impact break into resistance right here. So I was thinking we would come up and once again test that, which we did. All right, I saw a response off of here and wanted to play into this. Now we did get the result. I'm really, really grateful that we didn't get stopped out here because then we proceeded to dump after the PMI news came out, which is something that we were looking for as sort of a high impact piece of news. So that was trade number 1. Really, really good result. We were able to make 5.5 R on that trade total. Really, really good. Let the market settle a little bit. Second opportunity was into this area. What I was seeing is that we were developing a high here, failed to break that low, made a higher low, and then high impact candle outside of this support area. So I wanted to take a long off of that. We did get our initial response and then prices continued to drop down. All right, once we saw this level fail and break down, as this candle broke down through this potential support area, I looked at that as this trend that was moving down for the rest of the day came up, failed to break over a new high here, hit into resistance, and then had a high impact candle through here. So to me, I was comfortable taking and anticipating a short to hopefully be able to break underneath these levels, which we did, came down, but we double tested it and then ended up rejecting. I reduced my stop to break even, was able to sneak in and out of that, no damage. Maybe could have locked in partials, but just opening myself up to see if the market was going to sell off to be able to take advantage on that. So we're break even on that after our loss here of negative 1.2 R. Similar thesis over here. I was waiting for a high impact break. Once we rejected off of that area, we came up here, created a change of character level, high impact fair value gap right here. I had my other indicators agreeing with me and was hoping to be able to play into my higher time frame fair value gap, which you can see, as we were talking about earlier, did end up coming in contact, and that's where this high ended up topping out. Just took a little longer than I was hoping. All right, I played a little bit wide on this stop loss. We made 2.4 R on that trade, so we locked in around 2 risk factors here. Realistically, I probably should have brought my stop into here, which case we may have been able to have maybe closer to 3 or 4, which could have brought our daily average up a little bit higher, but it is what it is. And then we had another break even trade where basically I was stalking this trend level for some time. I saw it started to break down and then retest into here. So I was hoping to potentially be able to play into this area. Was a little bit forced maybe, but usually what happens is once you have a trend contact 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth time, as Asia was kind of opening, I was hoping that we may be able to sell off. We didn't. Break even trade, nonetheless, lost a little bit on fees. So after all said and done, 40% win rate on the day, 5.72 profit factor. We ended up 6.2 R after 5 total trades. So overall, it was a really successful trading session. Didn't have to spend the entire day milking trades, taking 10 different trades. Really good result. What I'm doing moving into the future is I want to be able to size up. I want to get to 2K as my 1R, and I want to also dive into the world of futures. You guys will probably be pretty excited about that. You can see I have my Trade of 8 account fired up. So I'm going to be diving into that world in 2026. I hope to be an experienced, successful futures trader as well, be able to bounce between markets and share that with you guys along the way. If you're still here, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you like these videos and you're new. Okay, you can check out other videos right here, as well as if you want to join our team or get mentored by me, you can check the information out in the description. But until next time, I will see you all in the next video.